Warning, the following broadcast contains strong opinions, playful antics, and controversial topics causing off-the-rails fun. Chances for being offended are higher than average for sensitive people. Viewer discretion is not advised. Live a little and have some fun.
And just like that, we're back. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Coach's Box. This is episode 172. And if you didn't get to see the artwork that I threw together in like 3 minutes, this is the Jolliest Bunch of A-Holes this side of the Meramec. And if you notice, there's 4 of us. We're all on this side of the Meramec. Fellas, how we doing? Yeah, the right side, the correct side. Yes. Fellas, how we doing this evening?
Doing great.
Good.
Jarvis, how are we doing this evening?
So fresh and so clean.
So fresh and so clean.
One more day and it's Christmas break. That's all.
Man.
Golly, that's
one more day.
Yeah.
What do you mean? This is Christmas break, buddy. Woo!
Yeah, well, we don't go back until the 8th, so we'll have extra days on the other end of it.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, unless you're coaching basketball and then you never seem
you
to
don't get no break anyway, or you're putting on a tournament in a tournament. You know, that's how we roll at Herculaneum.
I don't know about that whole putting on a tournament during Christmas time. Forget that.
Tournament. Herculaneum. Dunklin is tournament high school.
We got less tournaments now.
Yeah, you sold one.
I didn't even get anything out of that, Justin. And then Justin changed the stupid thing.
Yeah, it sounds like you're going to pour into the deal.
That just gives me an excuse to play a bunch of juniors down on JV against Pius. No big deal.
That's all right. Not a big deal. All right, fellas, it's been a couple weeks. There's been some crap that's happened. World of sports in our lives, high school sports, whatever. Zach, what's our topic list? I don't even know. I'm so disoriented here.
You sound like me.
You can tell it's the end of the semester. Everyone is just ready for break, right? It's like, hey, just like the kids. So what do I need to get a passing grade? A 25% on the final? Yes. So challenge accepted.
Hey, what can I do for extra credit? You can build a time machine, go back to the beginning of the semester, and do your crap. If you build a working time machine, I'll just give you an A.
Pretty much. If you make it out of a DeLorean, you don't even have to come to school anymore.
Listen, if you build it out of Legos, it's even more impressive.
Ooh, that's a fact.
Yes.
I like that idea. So what is flashing behind you, Kevin? What's going on back there?
It's the mean streets of Festus.
It's my basement light bulbs. I just can't get anything to work right in this house.
Wow. Aren't you like a technology guy?
Listen, wait. Hold on. Light bulbs these are not smart bulbs. These are leftover basement lights. That's what this is. So, I can't. Is that too bright?
There we go, dude. I was just giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
Zach, what's up on our topic list? Let's actually get into something here.
'Tis the season, you know. We've got football, we've got basketball, we've got hockey, we've got just all different types of stuff that's going on, and I figured we could just kind of do a hodgepodge of all the stuff that
Good. I'm going to go completely off the rails already.
Okay.
No
all
way.
right, go ahead.
The Cardinals do not need Matt Carpenter and all these idiots out here talking about it. No, we don't want them. We don't need them. And if Mo does it, Mo's stupid. Wait, we'll have him.
If by all
signed, new 2-year deal, $25 million.
By all these deals, all these idiots, do you mean Coach Rhodes?
No, oh man, he probably does want him back. I just keep seeing it on the Cardinals pages and crap. All these people talking
there's
about.
no shift now, so theoretically, that's
that's going to make him great. He batted so well last year. Let's sign him. Hey, we are trying to put the geriatric squad out there. We're going to sign. We'll re-sign. Hey, let's assign our first baseman to extension until he's 50. These people are out of their mind.
Bartolo Colon doesn't have a job yet. I'm just saying.
No, I think he's actually finally done.
That doesn't mean anything to Mo.
Well, I'm just saying, get the Matt Carpenter crap out of here.
Yeah,
I don't feel like the Matt Carpenter signing would be very very good for the Cardinals with what they need.
Would not be well received.
What do they need? Well, let's talk about since it's Christmas time and you're talking about presents and gifts. What do you want? This is the Jolly episode. So what do the Cardinals want?
It's Jolliest Bunch of A-Holes. Get it right.
They need back end bullpen help.
Okay.
And they need another a top end rotation starter.
Is Trevor Bauer still out there? I think he's still out there.
I think he's still out there.
I think
I'll go pick him up.
I think he's close to signing. I think the Cubs are the leaders in that.
God, I just can't. It's hard to be a Cardinal fan.
It is. Yeah.
So they're not completely shutting off the Yamamoto thing with the Cardinals because
they are.
No,
they are not getting him.
I got a better chance of being a freaking astronaut next week and flying to the moon, picking up some moon dust, putting it back in my pocket, and flying my happy ass back down here than the Cardinals of even getting at the negotiation table with this guy. It's not happening.
I'm just saying the door is not slammed shut yet.
Here, let me close it for him. Done. Hey, so I'll tell you what, with Ohtani's new deal and all that deferred money, there's a good chance that the Dodgers could try to jump in there and get this guy. They need pitching
more. They're going to sign more.
They need pitching. They really need pitching. I mean, Ohtani can't pitch for a whole season, for a year. Walker Buehler, I believe, has to have Tommy John surgery. They need pitching. They need pitching probably worse than what we do. I know, right?
The Dodgers need a new healthcare provider.
BJC. Hey, the Blues and the Cardinals, they have a great training staff.
They have some great training staff that'll come help the Dodgers if they want. Yeah.
Just saying, Zach always approves of them.
No.
Hey, Blues are winning 3-1 right now, so hey, there we go.
There we go. Hey, let's do a timeout. Let's go into that because
we didn't do a full or 30.
We'll take a 30 on this because we didn't get a chance to have the show last week. Jim and I, we did live. We did his show live. We didn't ever get a chance to talk about, and you guys, since you all are the hockey fans, you didn't get to process the firing of Chief. So let's get into it. Let's talk about now that it's basically been a week. And what are your thoughts at the time? What are your thoughts now going forward? Let's just have it out. Have it out. Go after it.
And go after it.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't like the firing. I thought it was the wrong move. I thought it was the wrong guy to go at that point. I didn't know that really neither Armstrong nor him needed to go. The team wasn't playing that poorly. They're still right around 500. But if you're going to make a move, you're going to make a splash, you got to do something big. It certainly woke Kyrou up a little bit. He's played a lot better since that coaching change.
He's the reason why it happened.
He's not the reason why.
He's a big part
of it. He's one of them.
He is one of the biggest parts of that move.
Yes, but he's not the reason. There was a bunch of other reasons. And it may have been a Schilt thing. He might have gone into Armstrong's office and said, listen, this team is not put together well. I'm not playing the guys you want me to play. I'm going to play it my way. And they said, well, we're going to go in a different thing then.
They went and had a beer and it was all,
I'm done with this.
I think Berube was probably like, thank you. About time. I'll see you later. I'm going to go get a gig somewhere else and whoop the Blues ass and everyone else's ass. That's fine.
He can go be on television and do some of that stuff for a little bit and be fine.
So you're telling me, again, not knowing anything about hockey, I'm trying to leave this open-ended. So you mean to tell me a Stanley Cup trophy, the first time in 50 years, is only good it's only good for 3.5 seasons or 3 seasons plus? That's it? That's all the goodwill you have?
What have you
Pretty
done for
much.
me lately? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm just gonna say it because I think I think the guy who should have been fired was if you're gonna get rid of anybody, Armstrong's the one who put these teams together. Okay, you can't blame Berube for going and trying to coach the way that he coaches. He's always coached this way. You knew what you had when you got him, and you didn't go out and get guys that fit his system. And I'm with Jason. Jordan Kyrou is one of the main reasons why this happened.
Yes.
He gave a lot of money to that guy, and he's playing like garbage. And then he's not playing hard. He's not playing 200 feet.
He didn't
playing
like
Bolton.
Berube. He didn't like him.
Yeah, and you know what? It tells his immaturity by the way that he answered that question and got booed by the people in St. Louis when you're saying that, oh, well, he's not our coach anymore. Well, you know what you got to say? You got to have some kind of wherewithal to like, hey, even if you didn't like him, you don't go and throw him under the bus right there to the media like that. Everybody in St. Louis, I don't know too many people who didn't like Craig Berube. They did that poll on 101 ESPN that morning, and they said, was this the right move, yes or no, firing Berube? And 8% said yes. 8 freaking percent. So 92% of the people who listened to 101 in the morning and voted on that thought that was a poor decision.
Well,
and it
Well,
was.
you know, approval
Hold on,
ratings aren't really good right now anyway across the
Well,
board.
I'm
Just
gonna kind of twist something here a little bit, and I read this somewhere. All right, back in 2019, when Armstrong had to fire Yao,
Hitchcock. No,
Yeah.
all right, or Hitchcock, that's right.
No, it was Yao.
Sorry, it was Yao. Yeah, it was Yao.
Hey, Mike
Yao.
Yao.
Yeah,
That was right.
okay.
Yo,
Yo.
it is not Yao. Ain't
Yeah,
Yao Ming.
Yao Ming?
It's
Yao Ming.
Yo.
Doesn't
Gosh.
even matter at this point. They were last when he was fired.
That's
he
true. That's
he
fair.
he hired Berube as the interim coach just to get him through the year. Berube was never really Armstrong's guy. He almost had to keep Berube when they won the cup.
I mean, almost,
and
you have to.
He had to keep him when because I mean he won the cup with the interim tag on. They didn't remove it until after the season. So I don't know. I think he was kind of waiting for a moment to kind of go get his own guy that he wanted. I don't think Bannister is going to be his guy. I think he's going to get his guy at the end of the year. But I think there's something to that.
What if they keep winning? What are you gonna tell Bannister bye? I mean,
I
what
think
if they keep winning and they make the playoffs? You're gonna tell this guy bye? I don't think you can.
I think if they make the playoffs, I still think he doesn't come back. I think he has to win the cup in order to come back as the coach.
All right.
Oh yeah, because you won it 5 years ago for the first time in 50 years. So that's the standard. It's like, hey, you got to win with this team, and you got to win the whole thing. It's not about getting to the playoffs or winning one round. You got to win the whole thing.
Well, I think in Armstrong's eyes, he wants to go get his guy. He didn't get a chance to go get the guy he really wanted when he did this 4 years ago.
Who's this guy?
I don't know.
That's my question is who do you think you're going to go out there and get? I mean, you've had some good coaches here in St. Louis over the past few years, and either you have good ones and you run them off, or you hire bad ones and they completely make the team suck because nobody likes them and they don't do well. So
Okay, so here's my question off of the coaching part. Since we all are coaches, was it a situation where Berube did not adapt to the roster? Was it a situation where, again, Chris, you kind of alluded to playing style? Is it a situation where in hockey, is it old school mentality as coaches, but it's a new school type of athlete? And so there's a disconnect there in relationship building, style of play or whatnot. I mean, again, as a coach, don't you have to sit here and look at your roster and say, you know what? I know okay, we'll do basketball terms. I know I want to run the flex, but that's not going to work with this group. I'm going to have to do something different. Or how about this? I know I want to run man defense, but I don't have the horses to do that, or the thoroughbreds. I've got to go zone. And so, what do you think? I mean,
I'll let one of you guys answer first.
I think there's something to that in the sense that Armstrong wanted to build the team he wanted to build, and it wasn't really what Berube wanted. He wants to run that. Armstrong wanted the team to look one way as the GM, which he has the right to do. That's his job. And Berube wanted to coach a team that was in a different style that this didn't fit, and it just wasn't matching up. So I think there was some poor decisions made on personnel in the last few years. I think this thing all went downhill when they let Pietrangelo walk. And I think that's the key here. If they keep Pietrangelo, I think it's a little bit of a different story.
I think that was the start of all of it, is when they did.
Yes, that was the start of all of it. You think Craig Berube wanted Pietrangelo gone? He wanted
his captain.
He wanted him signed. He didn't care the dollar amount. What? And the Blues should have said, you know what? He deserves it. He won us a goddamn cup, and Pietrangelo was one of the centerpieces of that cup, and one of the best defensemen around. Why would you not keep him?
He's still playing at a high level, and they thought because of his age, giving him a long-term deal. I think what did he get, like a 5-6 year deal?
Yeah.
And he's in now 5 of it, and he's still playing.
He's in year 3 of it, because he was here he left the year after the cup, didn't he?
No, he left the year they won it, and in the offseason he left.
That's what I'm saying. So he's 3 years into the 5-year deal.
Yeah,
4 years. He's in the 4th year into his 5-year deal.
Yep.
So there's I think that's
and
a lot.
He's played pretty damn well,
and he won another one.
Yeah.
Now he's got 2.
There's guys. There's plenty of people from that 2019 team that went to other places and ended up getting other. Pat Maroon, who they kind of let go after that as an afterthought, has won a couple of cups since then.
Well, and that was another bad move by Armstrong. That was a guy that would have stayed here. He was a St. Louis guy. You let him go. We did not do a good job of keeping the guys we needed to from that cup to keep winning.
But here's the problem with what they were trying to do is trying to, maybe what Zach was kind of getting at is trying to get some kind of team that's faster, or that skates faster, doesn't play as heavy, isn't the all physical team. But the problem is, though, is you get those guys that they can fly around everywhere, but if they get hit a few times, they're toast. How many injuries have the Blues dealt with with these guys that are, supposedly supposed to be fast skaters?
Here's a exact point of this game right now. We're up 3-1. We're playing Chicago, and we've still given up 34 shots. 34 shots, and we've only had 19, and we're up 3-1. And
so talk to me about that, because with the style of the game,
you gave up a lot of those guys that are willing to stand in front of the net and not allow those shots to come in. They gave up people that were willing to lay out on and block shots. They traded all that for offense. You got these offensive defensemen.
They wanted to find a way to get a couple of this next core in. At that time, Thomas, they wanted to give him a more prominent role. They wanted to give Cairo a more prominent role and find ways to get them into the top 12.
That's why Perron and all those guys are gone.
Yeah, and they let the wrong ones, and those were the contracts that were coming up at that point, and they were the ones that they let the contract expire in order to give them. They probably should have gone in a different route. The way they handled the Pietrangelo thing was really the most disappointing, because
very disappointing.
They didn't even attempt. They didn't even continue to attempt to negotiate. At one point, they just panicked and signed Krug because they didn't think they were going to get him. They didn't want to be left empty-handed. And then they got stuck.
So they didn't want to be Joe. They didn't want to be John Mosey-locked.
Yeah. Well,
we tried. We tried.
But then you've got players with bad contracts, like Marco Scandella's got a horrible contract for the role that he plays within this team. He's paid $4 million a year to be a healthy scratch once every 3 games. So
it's a pretty good deal, I guess, for him.
Yeah,
it's not Chase
like
Daniel.
it's not Chase Daniels like thing. At least Chase got to dress in a uniform and stand on the sidelines every week.
Right. Okay. So here's my next question, because everything revolves around money, and you brought it up. Is it a situation? Yeah. Is it a situation like football where offense sells and the game is going towards more offense? I mean, I don't. Again, trying to explain, if the system allows you to get the first Stanley Cup trophy ever, why would you not keep that same system? Why would you not keep that?
Well,
it is a hard system to play year after year after year. It takes a toll on bodies.
But that's why you need some guys who can take that beating and can do that, because when you get into the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's a grind. I mean, these are all 7-game series. Home ice means nothing. You might play 6 and 7 games every single time, every single series, and to get to the Stanley Cup, to even make the finals, I mean, it's grueling. It is absolutely grueling. Doesn't matter who you are. And the thing is if you don't have guys that can take that kind of beating, when you get in the playoffs, that heavy style really does help. If you got guys who can throw their weight around and beat those other dudes up. I mean, when the Blues did win the cup, look what happened to the Sharks. I mean, all those guys were hurt. They couldn't hardly finish the game in that, what was it, game 6? And they beat them to hell, and that was it. They were done.
In many instances, it's not necessarily that 1-year window for how that style is. That's like you play from October until June, and then you start training camp of 2 months later, and the body doesn't recover. If you're successful and you do it again, your body, that takes a toll on how much you've played, and it shortens it.
Yeah, but a lot of those guys, a lot of those teams that played with that type of style, those guys early in the season don't play a whole lot. They're still resting their bodies. They just either make the playoffs or they barely make the playoffs or whatever. And then them guys are, now they're all starting to play. Look, we're in the playoffs. Now we're whooping everybody's ass. There's ways around that. But I just think Armstrong had a different vision than the coach. And I think they made a couple mistakes that Armstrong thought, well, maybe he thought Pietrangelo wasn't as good. I mean, as he has been since that contract, and thought Krug and these other guys he brought in would suffice, and they just didn't. And
no.
And he made a mistake. He needed Pietrangelo. That was the key to all of this.
He needed both Pietrangelo, both on the ice and in the locker room. Yeah, and he needed that consistency.
Okay, so let's ask that, since we've got some time here. Do you think there was a big disconnect from the coaching staff and the players? I mean, here at the end of the day, everybody's adults in that locker room, and everybody is supposed to be professional, and you're getting a paycheck to play a game. So what's the disconnect, if there was one, in the locker room between Berube and the players?
I'll let you guys jump in on that one too.
You don't have a thought, or you?
Oh, I have plenty of thoughts.
Okay.
So I'd like to hear Chris's thought on that.
I think that some of our players are soft. That's what I think. I think some of them are soft, and there's another word for it, and that's what I think part of the problem is. And Berube ain't going to put up with softies. He's not going to put up with softies.
I don't think
you can't take a guy that's going to tell you straight to your face what you need to do to get better. And I think some of these young bucks or these contract guys like Thomas and Kyrou, or they couldn't take it when you screwed up and they got called out. I think they were wusses.
Yeah, I think there's part of that is I also think some of those guys didn't really respond well to the leadership. I think almost going a good part of the year without a captain last year, per se, was not a good look either. All right. And then you name one of the guys who was here last year as that captain to replace him this year in Shen. The guys, I don't think they responded well to Shen when he was called. If he was the leader in the locker room doing those things, I just don't think they responded well to that.
Well, the thing is the whole problem is you got guys that are playing soft, like Jason said. You're not going to win. It doesn't matter what style it is. Hockey is a physical game.
It's a man's game.
It's a man's game. You have to be a true man. You know, they've watered down football so much that you can't hardly hit anybody. There's something about hockey that they don't have that, because you still have to be able to play. They can try to regulate fighting, and they can take fighting out of hockey. But you know what's going to happen? There's still going to be guys who get hit. There's still going to be people who lose teeth. It's still you can't play a whole game of hockey the whole time, because it's that intense all the time, and it takes guys with a lot of skill. And you have to be kind of a badass about it. And the Blues just don't have enough badasses. Let's just call it like it is. They just don't. They don't. Even the days when you had the enforcer come out there, you had the Reeves, you had the Twist, you had those guys. You don't have anybody who can just go over there and say, you know, all right, we're going to throw down right now. Or, hey, if you play up against our fourth line, you're going to get the hell beat out of it. It's not a checking line. It should be. Georgienko's the closest one to it, but he's not that level.
And we also banked on Parayko, like he was going to be. He's not Pronger. He's not even close. He's just not that player. And guys, you know, like Pronger didn't have to fight. Pronger just fucking whooped people. I mean, he just whooped people's nuts. You know, whoops, excuse my French. I caught myself in the middle there.
I think PG-13. I think you get one of those.
Okay,
I don't know.
It was
I think that one goes straight to the
Well, but, sorry about that.
Kyrou.
I was fired up about some hockey, baby.
Guys like Kyrou have their place on a team. But only if, like Chris said, you have enough other guys that are willing to knock some people around. And when your biggest defenseman, your 6'5" defenseman, plays like he's 5'10", that's a huge problem. He
plays like a pansy.
Looks like Tarzan and plays like
Jane.
So is that the norm now in the NHL? Well,
no.
I'm asking.
Watch the hockey game, Zach. Don't ask a dumb question like that.
It's like we're like the island. The Blues are like the island of misfit toys. Sometimes it works well together, but mostly it doesn't.
So basically,
we're like the Islanders. We're not even the island of misfit toys, like the freaking Islanders.
So it's kind of like
mediocrity.
Cardinals, basically. It's just like, oh, here, give us all of your broken parts, and we'll makeshift something together. And here you go.
Terrible.
Here's a.
I guess
it's like both GMs look at free agents and say, okay, who's the guy that nobody else wants, because it'll be really easy to sign them.
Well, and I guess that's why I was so excited, because I'm so fired up right now about how crappy St. Louis sports are right now, and it's frustrating. I mean, I've rooted for the Blues my entire life. I've rooted for the Cardinals my entire life, and yes, we're spoiled brats when it comes to the Cardinals, but this bull crap that's going on there, it's garbage. It's garbage what's going on in the front office. The wallet ain't spending the money like he said he would with this new stadium. They said they'd raise that our salary, and it's not. It's all hovered around that 100, that 100. No, we haven't went to 130, 140. You know, we just won't
150. Do I hear 160? 160.
Well, if you're the Dodgers, hey, $700 million. But I mean, I'm just saying
No, it's only $20 million now. It's
they just know
$680 million.
They know that 3 million of us loyal fans are going to. I won't. I haven't bought a ticket in forever because I'm tired of this mess, and I won't buy a ticket until I think that they're doing right things. But not everyone else is a stubborn mule like me.
Well, you are kind of a stubborn mule. That is a fact. I think the biggest problem, and it is really frustrating, Jason hit it right on the head too, is the fact that we're seeing this mediocrity in St. Louis sports that we haven't seen probably in our lifetime. I mean, there's been a couple times where the Blues were bad, but that was right after the strike.
Well, 90s baseball was kind of bad, but go ahead.
Except for 90s, early
90s,
it was bad.
Early 90s Cardinals were bad, but that was only a stretch of about 5 years.
96 was the only good year in the 90s.
Pre Tony La Russa.
But then you got Big Mac, and all of a sudden the excitement came back.
Well, the excitement was there. Yeah,
that's
Winnie,
because,
maybe not.
that's because they did steroids.
I just want to say, St. Louis City won the Western Conference last year.
And then they got.
How is St. Louis in the Western Conference? It's right smack dab in the middle of the country.
We're west of the Mississippi.
Oh my God! Really? Okay, I'm talking about real sports that people care about in St. Louis.
Hey, soccer is big in
There were
St.
a
Louis.
lot of people that cared about it.
Oh, okay.
They don't know any of them because you don't get out of Jefferson
Kevin.
County.
That's right.
Because
I
we're
know
south
one.
of the Meramec.
I know one. He's not here. Big Jim Powers, big time.
Kyle Bohr.
Who?
Kyle Bohr, yeah, he went to Pius. Of course, he likes soccer.
Hey, I will say this though. I watched that Beckham documentary on Netflix. That was pretty entertaining. That was good. If you haven't seen it, we're getting ready to go on Christmas break. If you need something to watch,
Is it good?
I thought it was pretty good.
No, you guys keep saying I'm still watching Suits, dude.
Isn't it good? Isn't it good?
I am in
really good.
Dude, I stayed up the last 2 nights till 1 o'clock. I'm in the eighth whatever
season.
you call it.
Eighth season.
8th season. And
has
Mike
the guy died yet?
Shut up!
I'm just playing. I'm totally making that up.
Mike got married and left and all that. But yeah, dude,
Did JR shoot that guy?
I cannot get it. I cannot get enough of that show. If you viewers are watching, I know it's on that channel that everyone make fun of, but Suits is great, man. Awesome.
Suits is pretty good.
Reach came out. Reacher's good.
Yeah, I like that one. All right, hey, now I gotta ask. Here, the thing is though, is
so Beckman's good. That's good.
There's Beckman.
Whatever.
Becker.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Becker. I thought he said Becker.
Oh, gosh. What are you?
Go ahead. That's not 2. Oh my God. That'd be like saying penis. What? It's a proper term.
Pedro. That's been on a lot lately.
Oh,
and on that note, we are going to take our.
Oh man! I just got cut off the break.
Yeah, well, it's that time. We come back. I don't know what we'll talk about, and hopefully we'll be on the air. But we'll see you guys in a little bit. See you guys in a second. We'll be right back.
I'm the 4th string quarterback, but due to a pregame meal of all-you-can-eat calamari, now I'm the 1st string quarterback. But I'm also a transfer student, so I'm a little lost. And if you've got cut rate insurance, your jacked up rates might make you sick. So get accident forgiveness from Allstate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
Guys, if you've been in to check out the changes at Case and Buck's Grub and Pub, stop by, check us out. We've got awesome wings, we got great pizza, we got a steak sandwich, a steak salad. Holy cow, we got games, we've got lotto, we've got cold beer, we've got a little bit of everything. Stop by, check us out, check out the weekly specials, barbecue, pork steaks, yum. Harold's Market, thank you, my friends. Check us out. We are waiting for you.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the second segment of the Coach's Box. Well, I'll tell you what, our commercials can be kind of entertaining in our little private chat that nobody else gets to see, read, or be a part of.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, no kidding. If you do enjoy our show, and I don't still have no idea why you would enjoy our show unless you're crazy or
I don't know why you wouldn't.
I don't know. I personally enjoy it. I mean, we've only done this for 172 times with you, jolly bunch of a-holes. But anyway, if you like our show, please get on Facebook and subscribe, or like our Facebook page, and then subscribe to our YouTube channel. All of our content is 1,000% free, $0 down. It literally costs you more money to turn on your computer than what it does for you to watch.
It is free for free.
That's right. And real quick, before we get going in our second segment, we want to wish Rob Logan, one of the members of our Off the Rails media family who does the Nova Nation podcast. We want to wish him a speedy recovery. He ended up having a heart attack the other day, and
man.
Rob's doing a lot better. He's doing well. It was a rough one, but and I hope he's okay with me mentioning all that. But his wife's put it out there, and we want to wish him a speedy recovery. He's a great guy, and I know he's probably itching to get back to work and then get back to doing his podcasting stuff, because I'm sure he has a lot to talk about with Villanova hoops. And we just want to let Rob and all of his family know that we have had him in our prayers. So with that being said, we do have some basketball to talk about here. And Jason, the Park Hills Christmas tournament, it's upon you. Not us, because it's not upon me. I'm going to go over to Rolla and go and stay in hotel rooms and get my food paid for. But you're going to the Park Hills Christmas tournament, which is one of the best Christmas tournaments around. It's obviously played in one of the best gyms around. So why don't you give us a little, insight to the seating and what to expect?
All right. Well, say that again. I'm sorry.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, you're kind of putting me on the spot, but I want to pull up the tournament here and kind of go. Whoa, that was last year's. I don't want that one. I want this year's. But the
show preparedness.
Well, he did throw me. He threw that on me. I mean, that's what I mentioned, but I didn't know we were going right into it.
Jason, that's what you get for all your dirty words.
There was not many. Guys, quit putting it out there. They may not have saw that segment yet. Hey, so the host, no surprise there, Park Hills Central, who just come hot off of a football, and they are the number 1 seed at the tournament. You have the number 2 seed in South Iron. To me, not really a surprise there. Then I thought it got kind of interesting. The 3rd seed's Farmington. I think that there's several teams, 3rd, 4th, 5th, that could have been put around anyway, I think. Hillsboro's the 4 seed. The 5th seed, Potosi, and who we get to face off on the first night of the tournament, 8:30 game. That's going to be weird. I'm not used to.
This is going to be more like the 9:15 game.
There is no 9:15 game, though.
No, I'm saying by the time you get started.
Oh, yes, you could be correct. I don't know. First round sometimes goes pretty quickly. we're gonna have a handful in Potosi at the 5 seed. They're tough. They're long. They're good.
They got a pretty good player.
Yeah, they got a couple. They're not just number 24. They've got a couple, man. They got some kids that can play. And they're the 5th seed, and then 6th seed is Festus. The 7th seed is St. John. And then I think Jefferson at the 8th seed is going to be one of the most dangerous teams in the tournament. I think with the Breeze kid and the way he's been playing, they have some strength with him and number 40. I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now.
Weiler.
But, Weiler. Him and the Breeze kid are tough. They're a nice little tandem there, and they get some of their role players to hit some threes from the outside. They're going to be tough. They got a tough matchup in the number 9 seed in Stillville, and then you get to 10, which is DeSoto, who we just got beat by the other night, and then the 11 seed's Fredericktown. The 12th seed is us, Herculaneum. 13 seed is Crystal City. So this is kind of surprising. North County is the 14th seed. It's probably been a very long time since they've been seeded that low in the tournament. And the 15th seed is Perryville. And last but not least is Arcadia Valley at 16. So they get Central right off the bat. I'm glad I'm not 16.
Did they just win the Sky Horse tournament? So they went right from state title, championship football. Then they played whatever tournament. I thought it was Sky Horse that they won.
They were 4-1 at the time of the seed meeting. Yep.
Now
they got a couple good players.
I
mean, the Bryant kid and
they got a couple of good players that don't start.
Yeah, they have some athletes. They're good. They're going to be fun to watch. I mean, I think I would believe. I mean, I know they're the 1 seed, but I think they're the favorite, and it's at their place, which is always good for them. And I still think it's a competitive tournament. I think 2, 3, 4, and 5, even down to 6. Even all the way down to 8, I think all those teams are pretty solid, and should be fun. I mean, that atmosphere down there is the best. I mean, kids remember that. Even if you go down there and lose, they still remember just playing there.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun place to play. I mean, I have to agree that Park Hills is the golly. Who's got music and something going on in the background? Is that you, Jason?
Well, my TV's going on.
Oh, man, that's loud. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe it's my headphones. Anyway, I think that Park Hills is probably the favorite, obviously. I mean, they play such a tough schedule. They went up and played the Norm Stewart Classic. That's their only loss. They played against Battle, who's really good this year.
Yep.
They played Windsor, and they beat them. They beat Festus fairly handily. Even Valley Catholic, who is a solid.
And they beat them by almost 50 or something.
Bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they're playing on another level, and if they stay healthy, I don't see any reason why that they're odds-on favorite to possibly get back to the Final Four. But this tournament, there's several good teams at the top that can make some noise. I think the dark horse is a team like, unfortunately, sorry, Jason, Potosi. That was my pick coming in before I even knew you guys gotta play them because they're pretty good. But South Iron, who we get to match up with tomorrow night, they're obviously a team that just don't make a lot of mistakes. Farmington's pretty good as well. Hillsboro has another good team, and I agree with you, Jefferson. If those two boys can get going, they could possibly give Central even a run for their money. So, it should be a fun one to kind of watch and keep track of.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Potosi. I'm with you on the Potosi thing. We play them January 2nd too, so I was like, gosh, dang it. I would have rather been matched up against a higher seed just so I didn't have to play them, and then I got to turn around and play them in January. So, and I mean, they're just good. They move the ball well, play good defense. They're lengthy. They're tall. I mean, they're so athletic. Then they got the one guy. It's like whatever 6'8" or whatever he is, and they're tough. And I'm with you. I could see them making some noise at the 5 seed.
Well, and the thing is about these 16-team tournaments around the holiday times, if you can, you want to try to figure out a way to come out of that thing 2-2 at worst, 3-1 at best. Unless you can win the whole thing, or and that's tough. It's tough to win a 16-team tournament because there's other good schools in it, and again, you're playing just about 4 days in a row, or four times in 5 days. So
hopefully,
it makes, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. At best, if you want to win it, you have to. So that makes it tough, and it's tough on teams, especially playing some of these games that are going to be they're tough games every night. It's not like you're always going to get the cakewalk. And if one of these lower, maybe not the I would say the lower seed, but not the top end of the tournament decides to get hot and go on a run, I mean, I've seen teams that win these big holiday tournaments, but they went through a gauntlet to do it, and it takes them a few games in January to kind of get their bearings back because they just went through, their team's beat up, and it takes a little bit of time to get back, where they need to be. But
and you hit the nail on top of the head, I thought, with, I mean, I always go down there and I want to play 3, would really love to play 4. That's what you always want to do, is play 4, And last year we were lucky enough to play 3, lost in a heartbreaker to Farmington by 1 point to get to play that 4th game. So, I mean, that's the goal. You want to play 4, and heck, if we go down there and play, I mean, it'll be an interesting matchup if we do lose to Potosi and then Hillsborough takes care of Crystal. I got to play Crystal again, who we played earlier in their tournament, and who will have to play again in conference. That's the only thing about some of these local tournaments. You get end up playing some people quite a few times. Won't be as bad as Hillsborough and DeSoto a few years ago. But
that is correct.
So I want to ask you guys as head coaches, and Kevin, you can add your 2 cents on this. So as coaches, as head coaches, when you go into winter break, what are you looking forward? Let me say this. What is your objective about your in break? There's no school. You've got 2 weeks basically, depending on a school's calendar, on how much time you have off. Go through your thought process for the fans and viewers and explain tournament versus no tournament. What are the pros? What are the cons? The types of tournament that you want to get in versus maybe that you don't want to get in. Like, just what's your thought about this holiday season? What are your goals, objectives, all of it? It's just kind of open for interpretation for you guys.
I'll start because I'll let those guys finish. As I haven't coached basketball as head coach, but as an AD, we were in and out of a couple of tournaments, and we got out of some tournaments, so we didn't run into the thing where we would see teams 3-4 times because those tournaments had a lot of them. So the one thing I always kind of wanted is I wanted the kids to be able to have an experience that maybe they didn't have, and you can get that at Park Hills, or like Chris taking his team to Rolla. It's a chance to get your team away and do some things and kind of build a little bit of something before you get into the second half of that season, that stretch run. But like one year we decided to take our team up to the Chaminade tournament, just as Jason Tatum's senior year. And we knew it was going to be a rough go, but we got lined up with Chaminade in the first round, and the kids were all excited to play Chaminade. And the kids that they had, Tatum didn't play that game because it was a 1-8 game, but Tyler Cook, who played at Iowa, and I think he's in the league now, was on that team. And
is it load management or what?
It was load management, the original load management. But they took care of it. They fed us. They fed the whole team. They fed the kids. They got the coaches, all kinds of stuff. It was a really nice tournament in a couple of years to be in some really good places to do and have a good experience. You want to win. You want to do some things. You want to be able to build some momentum moving into that second half of the year, especially after seeing what your team has done for the first 4 weeks of the season.
Go ahead, Chris or Jarvis. What do you think?
Go ahead, Jason.
I'm conflicted on this.
Uh-oh.
Well, I do like playing in the Park Hills tournament. but it can be demoralizing if you're one of them bottom teams. You're a 15, a 14, a 13, and you're trying to build your program or whatever. You go down there and get beat by 70 to the first place or second place team, and you're trying to muster up, for that second ground game at 10 a.m. the next day after you just lost by 60 or 70. It can be hard, and if you're a young program, or you're a program that, if you're a new coach and you're taking over a program and you're trying to gain wins to help build that momentum, and it can hurt. I mean, I can remember my first couple of years, I was like, dude, I want to get out of this tournament like fast. I wanted to get out. I mean, I thought, let's get out of this thing. I mean, it's just,
what's the point?
Yeah, I'm going down there and getting my head beat in. And then I've gotten to compete a couple years, the 1 year we beat South Iron, which was a fluke. I mean, we got lucky. They were the 8 seed. We were the 16 seed, I think it was. And but it's hard. Parents and kids aren't as dedicated now as they were 10 years ago, and so sometimes it's hard to be in a Christmas tournament. I mean, you have all these people wanting to see their families, wanting to do this for Christmas, do that, and like me, I'm practicing every day but Christmas Eve and Christmas. And it's hard. I mean, it's a lot for me, even, So I see there's some good things about, and Chris, I kind of like his idea, because they kind of go where they play a bunch of teams they're never going to see again after that, which I think that's kind of cool. If you can get in a tournament like that. Park Hills, though, I think is the best Christmas tournament around. So I don't think we'll ever get out of it. So it's just something you prepare for every year, and you just know, as long as your administration, everyone knows you're probably going to take a loss or two down there, and they're fine with that, then I'm fine with being in it.
Well, I mean, and I always leave it up to the kids the following year, as long as they invite us back. And Rolla's been really good to us. They offered us to come down there right after I got the job at Pius, and come down there. I had some kids that could possibly play in college. Obviously, a couple of them did, and I wanted to get them some exposure. I gave them the opportunity to decide whether they wanted to or not. And it's really good. I do like going and playing schools that you don't get to see. And I've noticed being a part of the MBCA polls committee and stuff, that when you're looking at some of these other schools, there's a lot of schools that are going other places away from where they normally play, traveling a little bit and doing these tournaments over holidays. And even if it's kind of far away, just because they probably need to get away and play some different competition. And then it's the experience part where the team can be around each other for a little bit of time, and hopefully maybe build some cohesion. And then you get to see some different competition that's either, pretty good. Obviously, you don't want to go and play a bunch of schools you're just going to mop the floor with and then have a false sense of who you are. Like, we play some good schools, and I tell the kids, like, listen, we might be playing for 7th place. And they say, okay, hey, let's go. So, I mean, it's and they probably just want to play Madden or games in the hotel room. They do like doing that. But at the same time, I do like them getting together and actually doing that as a group. And we just, hopefully we can be competitive. But to answer Zach's thing, is a lot of kids either don't want to or they can't participate in these holiday tournaments, these Christmas tournaments. And so, I mean, I can see both sides of it after all these years. For me, when I grew up, we're going to go play at the Park Hills tournament, and we're going to go watch it. And it really doesn't matter what you're doing. You would schedule your Christmas stuff around it, whether it's both sides of the family or whatever. And that was part of life. In some of these other places, it's not part of life, and they have other things that are priorities. So I think there's a culture and the tradition that weigh into this. But I can see that if it's not continued to be pushed by the people in those communities, that these Christmas tournaments will just be a thing of the past, to be honest with you, because that's where it starts. I mean, real quick, and it was like Jim talking about the Turkey Day football game between Kirkwood and Webster Groves and how big of a deal it is. Well, it's that big of a deal to go and play at the Park Hills Christmas tournament, where I'm from in Annapolis. And I believe South Iron is the smallest school that's left in that tournament. It used to be several schools that were that size, and they've all left that tournament. And
I don't. Is South Iron smaller than Crystal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
that goes back.
Marquand used to be in it. Viburnum used to be in it.
Yeah, I know there was other ones.
Valley Caledonia, those types of schools were all in that.
And that goes back to what you said, Chris. That goes back to as either the head coach or maybe even AD, you have to take the pulse of your team and you have to look at it as it. Again, what's my favorite saying is the juice worth the squeeze. And so you have to look at it like, hey, you know what? There is a chance that if you are that 15, 16 seed, you're probably going to get whooped by 70 or 80. And is that something that you want to do? Is that something that you want your kids to go through? You want your parents to go through? Again, and I think that's why a lot of those schools got out of it, because they're like, we are Class 1, Class 2 schools. There's really no business of us being in there.
But to speak on this holiday tournament thing, and I disagree with that. And I'll look at like this: when you go and play at the Cape Christmas tournament, the Southeast Missourian that's played down there in the Show Me Center. You might be fortunate enough as a small school to have an opportunity to be a higher seed, but your top seeds in that tournament are always a Jackson, a Cape Notre Dame, Charleston. You're Scott County Central when they were, had all those good teams. You were not, if you got matched up against them, you're going to get thumped, but then you're going to go and have an opportunity to do something on the other side of it. And that's where I want to try to, if we're going to lose one because we're going to be matched up against them, I want to win on the other side. And the consolation side of these tournaments, that's not something that is just kind of like, small potatoes here. It's big because you're basically losing that first game to go win 3. And if you're that school, that's what you want. You talk about building momentum. We were going to try to compete against that first one. Yes, odds are you're probably going to lose to Scott County Central with Otto Porter Jr. playing. Fine, I get that. But you know what? We can come in and we can try to compete and win those next 3 and be 3-1. So some of those schools that have those high expectations, they might go 1-2 and get bounced in the 5th place semifinal game. They might go 2-2. They might not get where they want to go. So I want that opportunity to win those 3 games. So if I'm at Park Hills, if I'm at Cape, if I'm at Bloomfield in those Christmas tournaments, absolutely. I want to try to get those games. I want to try to win those 3 games. If I don't think there's a high probability that I'm not going to win the first round matchup. So I think I don't like all those schools down there. They didn't get out of that tournament. They've been in that tournament. Even when they know they're going to lose that first one, they've stayed in that tournament. They haven't jumped ship like some of these schools up at Park Hills have.
Well, and the problem with jumping ship too at Park Hills, you ain't gotta get back in, buddy.
You ain't coming back.
And so that's the thing. You gotta go in a school at the size. I know, we're a Class 4 school, but we don't even have 500 kids at our high school. So we're a school that's going to go through cycles where we have a good group, and then we may go a couple years. It's not going to be pretty when we go down to Park Hills, but I'm not going to get out of that tournament because it's the best one, one of the best ones around. And you got to look at other things too. I know Justin Ford starting one at St. Paul, I hope it lasts for him. But, you look at some of the teams that are in it, and they're teams that I've seen in other tournaments at Christmas and other teams, so that's the thing. You get out of one, then you're like, well, I ain't playing over Christmas anymore.
Well, I will say this. There's something to be said also for the basketball season. That winter season is the longest season. It is 4 months long. It is okay if you as a coach decide that week off, you can take that week off so you don't necessarily have to I hate to use the word, but fight with I'm going out of town because I'm going to see my grandparents, or this is the week my parents want to take and we're going on vacation and I've got to go with them, or those types of things. You don't have to fight that. You can do some practicing, you can do some things like that, and you can get dialed in for that January and February stretch run. There's nothing wrong with doing that.
Recharge your batteries that way.
Yes.
And again, and I say this just because this is the nature of the business that we're in as coaches. It kind of depends upon where you're at. And Chris brought up culture, because the reality is that Chris always says that you're hired to be fired at the professional level, collegiate level. And I think it trickles down now even to the high school level. And so you have to weigh those things. You have to weigh those things as a coach to say, again, is this going to benefit? Is this going to benefit the team? Is this going to benefit me? Is this going to benefit my livelihood and my family? And if it is, great, let's go do it. If not, then we'll take a couple weeks and recharge, because, hey, that's great to be in this tournament. You want to compete. The whole point of sports is to compete. But when your point guard's like, Coach, I'm out of town, or your post player's like, hey, I'm out of town, then what?
Well, I mean, but you're going to have that with whatever you do. I mean, to be honest with you, the way that some families function nowadays, if they got a working family and they say, hey, this is your 10 days that you're off for vacation or a week or whatever they give you, and they're going to go, whether it's during your tournament or not. It is what it is.
There's a team at that tournament that has that issue, and that's probably why they're seated where they're at. Their two best players are not going to be there. So,
but at the end of the day, hey, when it's time for renewal, hey, buddy, let's look at that wins and loss record. And to go back and kind of maybe put a bow on this, you look at it and say, what am I building around as a head coach? What's my schedule like around it? Because when you talk about the benefits of being in a tournament like Park Hills, it's great. It's the experience for the kids, because at the end of the day, we're doing everything we do for the kids. So
I'm doing it for the money.
Right. Okay. Doing it for the money. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And so you get the experience for the kids, and you just, I don't know, if like Jarvis, you said, man, there's some years where I'm going to be good. There's going to be some lean years. Well, then as a coach, you've got to know that, and you've got to plan accordingly. You can't sit here and say, you know what, I'm going to build my schedule around a bunch of Class 5, Class 6 schools, or whatever the case may be, and still do that. That's not helping you out.
Doing that's such a crapshoot, because you may see in that 7th and 8th grade years that, man, we look like we're going to be pretty salty, and they get there and either A, they're not going to your school, or B, they decided they're not playing anymore.
Darn right.
Well, yeah, you're right.
And then you're stuck with that schedule that you set up for that.
Well, the problem is too, though, like you're saying, I beefed my schedule up a little bit for that class that graduated last year, right?
Right.
Well, I'm in the second year of that cycle. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't get out of those games. So still had to play those people. So I still had to go to Northwest and play against 2 6'5" guys that I don't have anyone that can compete. And so, you're always, as a coach, is just, you got to hope that your AD is supportive. You got to hope that they know, hey, he's going to take some lumps this year, blah, blah, blah. But we know he's shown that he's going to develop these kids. They'll be better in another year, so on and so forth. And it's hard. It's hard because I was diehard wanting to get out. I wanted out of that tournament. When I first got there, I was like, this is stupid. I'm going down there.
Waste of time, right?
Well, I was going down there and playing 2 games every year. I mean, my first three or 4 years, it was 2 games, and it wasn't even close in a couple of those games. I mean,
you're not even at November 1st in your schedule. You're looking at it, and you're like, I'm 0-2 before I even pick up a basketball.
Yep, before you even pick up basketball. That is a bad feeling.
But if you got a culture of a team or a community that's not used to holiday tournaments, and Zach's worried about kids going on out of town and stuff, if you put that, if you go
Take
ahead
it away,
you kind of just say, listen, we're going to do this, and is your first year there, and by the 4th and 5th year of you being there, if you can make it that long, obviously.
There you go.
There's other factors. It's not you lost this Christmas tournament, we're firing you. Okay. This is not,
No,
No.
but it,
And I know that those games, I mean, but listen, you're not taking 4 losses at these tournaments. You would take 2, and that would be those 2. But if you can put that on your schedule and your kids and your parents and your community know that this is something that's on your schedule, you'll start having those kids there if it's a priority to them and their family. And that's what you got to try to keep putting out there, that we will be having these practices, we will be having these games, and it is something that we're doing for the kids.
I totally agree. And 9 years being a Herky, and I'm going to knock on wood. Someone's going to tell me tomorrow they can't be there, but I have not had like someone in my top 8 players say they couldn't be there. You know, I mean, I've had some kids miss, but I think maybe one time it's been like a starter. And, you know, I've had some role players or some kids that hardly ever get in, be like, hey, you know, and okay, I get it. I mean, one year when Dallin Fuller was a freshman, I had to play him at the Christmas tournament. I didn't want to, but we had a bunch of kids injured from football still. So I had to bring him with me on, you know, his freshman year, he had to play the tournament. You know, I mean, it is what it is. And that's one, I know Herky's been in it for a long time. So, I mean,
a couple of years. Yeah.
So it's a expectation there that, you know, they know. I know for a long time, the girls were trying to get in it, you know, and they weren't ever successful to get in it because people don't get out of them.
And the girls is only an 8-team tournament.
Yeah,
right?
it's only
The
8
girls is
teams.
only 8. They talked about trying to expand that, but I don't think there's enough days and facility available to make that work.
There would be a 9:15 p.m. game every night if they added that.
There is a 9:15 because there's going to be fouls called.
Yeah.
And
which means that 9:15 is a 10:15 start.
And so you're shooting 2 free throws a lot of times with the, you know, you're going to be shooting 2 free throws. So
wait a minute.
Well, then it should move faster then by the NFHS theory.
There'll be less injuries.
The games will be on time. Yes.
Well, I can tell you this. The other night we were down by 10, and when I started fouling, I'm like, well, crap. They're getting 2 every time. I mean, most of the kids can hit 1, you know, and so you're down 10. And if they're hitting 1 every time you're fouling them and you're scoring 2, it's going to take a while. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's the rule has made things different. That's for sure.
I agree. Well, we kind of went a little longer than what we should have. That's okay. We were having a good conversation there about the Christmas
vacation.
tournaments. Yeah.
Not yet.
It is for us, not you.
Well, that's all right. We'll be off till the 8th. All right, when we come back, we'll have our third and final segment of the Coach's Box. You're watching it. We hope. We'll see you in a little bit.
I'm the 4th string quarterback, but due to a pregame meal of all-you-can-eat calamari, now I'm the 1st string quarterback. But I'm also a transfer student, so I'm a little lost.
And if you've got cut rate insurance, your jacked up rates might make you sick. So get accident forgiveness from Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
guys, if you've been in to check out the changes at Case and Buck's Grub and Pub, stop by, check us out. We've got awesome wings. We got great pizza. We got a steak sandwich, a steak salad. Holy cow. We got games. We've got lotto. We've got cold beer. We've got a little bit of everything. Stop by, check us out. Check out the weekly specials. Barbecue, pork steaks. Yum. Harold's Market. Thank you, my friends. Check us out. We are waiting for you.
Welcome back to our third and final segment of the Coach's Box. If you like our show, go ahead and like our Facebook page. We'd really appreciate it. We won't give you anything for it because we don't charge you anything for it. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is also free. And all the proceeds that you don't pay go towards us having fun for your entertainment. I know, right? So our third and final segment, guys, I would have to say that Drink won on the field, and he's also winning off the field right now.
He's winning the living room.
Yeah, he is. I mean, the Mizzou football is just owning the transfer portal right now, and the recruiting game is all Eli Drinkwitz. So, fellas, the floor is yours. Let's hit it.
We said this in the group chat, and you see a lot of it. What I like is the fact that, and Jim and I talked about this on the show last week about how there's a lot of Missouri talent, whether that's on the STL side, whether that's on the KC side. And sometimes those players go out and they go away, but it's nice to see those guys coming back home, coming in state, going to play for the home state team, MIZ, ZOU, and you're seeing it, and it's great. And I think Drink's building. I think, hopefully he, after this, top 10 finish into the regular season, hopefully that culminates with the bowl victory. And he realized
whoop Jim's Ohio State Buckeyes, the Ohio State.
And I hope it's like, and I hope it's like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to jump ship. I can stay here in Columbia, and I'm in the SEC, and they're going to build stuff around for me, and we're going to continue. I've got a great pipeline in state and even down south into Texas and wherever, and just keep the ball rolling. I think that's legitimate. I mean, that's a realistic possibility as we go forward.
I think I heard Drinkwitz talk and it's the footwork that he's doing on this one. He made 18 in-home visits in 36 hours.
Wow.
Right before there, something like that, where he was in Boca Raton, Florida for a little bit. He was in Atlanta meeting with a couple of kids. He was in Nashville within a 36-hour period. He goes, I'm thankful for private jets and Starbucks coffee, just trying to get through that stuff. So
wow.
He
was on ESPN. He was on ESPN live in a recruit house, and it was great when they did the schedule reveal. He's on it. And he's like, I'm not going to show you whose house I'm in, but I'm in a recruit's house right now. So hopefully you landed him.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, the big land was that Williams Nawari. Because they landed him, and then two other guys from Lee Summit jumped ship from other places and came to Mizzou.
They got Nawari back in August to commit. And he held the commitment. He committed before they went 10-2. He committed to Drink before this season happened, and he held his commitment through it and was able to pull more people in. He, in some ratings, is the number one recruit in the country.
Well, and then
that number one end as well.
Yeah, number one end. He's the consensus number one end, but he is in some ratings the number one player. in the
and
country.
that brought the tackle from Oklahoma who went to Lee's Summit and was his teammate. So these guys have been, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, hey, let's talk to each other. Let's all go to Mizzou. I mean, let's go drink the drink and let's get it. And dude, I mean, it's pretty awesome. They signed the Courtney Crutchfield from Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Right out from underneath Arkansas.
Yes.
Love it. They
signed Jalen Brown, the kid from Alabama. So he probably one of his stops was Alabama down there.
Yeah. Toriano Pride, the transfer, the Lutheran North transfer, came back from Clemson, the cornerback.
Yeah. Well, because our two cornerbacks are probably going to get drafted.
Yeah.
So
I'd say so.
Cameron Keys, another guy they got from Lynn Haven, Florida. The guy at Nashville, you said he went to Nashville. He got a guy there. I mean, he's James Madison. They got the running back from Georgia State to transfer.
I will say this though. The funny thing was about Nebraska and the coach coming out and man, it's going to take a good, $1.5 million, $2 million to get a QB, and then a few weeks later he flips the number one QB prospect going from Georgia now heading over to Nebraska. So you think maybe shades of Eric Dickerson driving that gold.
Do not compare Nebraska to SMU.
Oh man, hey,
no
you never
way.
know.
No.
He's all right.
Yeah, we don't need that again. I will say this, and the Mizzou thing is great. It's been really interesting to watch all those people jump ship from Georgia.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
they want to play.
Nuts. It's nuts. Well, I mean, it's a bunch of 4- and 5-star guys that are all. I think there's 11 4- and 5-star guys. Oh, there's a 5-star.
Look at that.
That's
I'm scared of part of the show.
Hey, Ohio State too. Look at their list of 5 stars, 4 stars that are heading out.
It's crazy. All the Georgia. Why is it? I guess you're right. They want to play.
Well, the speculation is that Kirby Smart's going to go to the Falcons.
Yeah, but come on, who wants to go and coach the Falcons?
When you're the highest paid public government official for the state, why would you leave? Why would you
have total control?
He's already fulfilled his PSRS. He can now double dip into it. No. Whatever George's version of the PSRS is.
Yeah, but okay, go build yourself a statue. Like, okay, NFL, great. Maybe I'm assuming you're going to get more money, but like,
will you though?
I don't know. I don't know anymore. I mean, Saban's getting what, 11, 12 mil a year. And
okay, but look at but here's the thing. Do you don't need to go to the NFL to have that name recognition like Saban did when he left and went to Miami.
Yep.
And the problem is the guys who are like that, like these guys are, we're doing it my way. And those guys, it doesn't work in the NFL. So why would I want to go there and be fired within a couple of years and then have to? Yeah, I'll get a job because I'm Kirby Smart. But why?
Here's, and I'll say this, and there's probably a little bit to this, and you guys as coaches can say this. At some point during your coaching career, did you not want to be at the highest level that you could be at? As a coach? Yeah,
for sure.
So, and especially if you've had a little bit of success or a lot of success in Kirby Smart's case, doesn't it creep into your head that, man, I wonder if I could do this at the next level? So
it does, but I think you have to look at it. Yeah, I think you have to look at it as, okay, like the Harbaugh, he's been in the NFL. So he's been around it. So if he decides to leave Michigan and go back to the NFL, that's not a big leap. But some of these guys that, again, hey, they make a name for themselves at the collegiate ranks and let's go test the waters in the NFL. Maybe it's fulfilling some type of dream. But to me, I don't know. I think you're splitting hairs at that point.
I can't even think of outside of Pete Carroll. I can't think of a college coach that had a decent amount of success that then translated that success to the NFL level. Am I forgetting someone? Pete Carroll's the only one that I can think of that comes to mind.
Not recently, not in recent memory.
Yeah.
Not in NFL. I can think of some NBA, but not NFL.
Yeah, but at the I can't at the NFL level, it's just a different game. Where at the college level, it's recruiting and you can pick your team, especially if you're successful, versus the NFL.
Different kind of people you're dealing with.
Managing adults versus managing teenagers.
It's a different thing, and I mean, now with there's so much money in the pot for these guys. It's not even about chasing the money now. I mean, I would want to stay somewhere if I'm Kirby Smart or any of these guys and just say, hey, if I've got that job security now, like I do, why would I need to go anywhere else? You're paying me. I'm coaching. I have total control. Why do I want to give that up? There's nothing else to it. It is the NFL. I don't feel like the NFL is even the highest level of football. I don't.
The SEC. The SEC is the highest level of
SEC
football.
is the highest level of football. Sorry, Jim
Powers. It's corporate. I mean, the reality is the NFL and professional sports is corporate. And so you take the passion and the pageantry of college athletics and high school athletics, and it's just a business. And so if that's your personality to where you're like, hey, that's what I want to do, I want to be a CEO, then I think those types of coaches are successful. You look at the Bill Belichick's, but I don't think if you are about the sport and you're about the pageantry and all of this surrounds it, then
the pageantry, right?
Pageantry around it.
Is
college.
Now, is Kirby Smart wrong for even considering a possible move to the NFL?
No, because you're always looking. I mean,
at some point,
that money.
He's making it.
Here's
pay attention. We just said that.
I know you did.
I saw a stat that came out the other day. Money is probably more so at the college level than at the NFL level, with some exceptions. Arch Manning is making almost
$3.2 million. They said on the radio.
In NIL deals. Brock Purdy is making $780,000.
Well, and that's why they said there are a lot of guys, and again, to bring up Alabama and Saban, there was a couple guys that he fully expected to leave, and they're like, no, we're going to go ahead and stay. I'm making more money at the collegiate level than I am it would go pro. So the whole running joke with Reggie Bush, how he goes pro and he's got to take a pay cut, like that's reality now.
Yeah,
that's reality.
Marvin Harrison Jr. may stay at Ohio State just to continue getting the money that he makes there, because it's greater than the rookie contract in the NFL.
I mean, when I found out that Manning's making 3.2 as like the third string quarterback right now.
Second, the backup transferred out.
Okay, the season, Kevin, he was the third.
Right.
Smart ass. He was the third string quarterback all year, making 3.2.
Yeah.
Well, actually, here. How about this for devil's advocate fun? So I've always have not been a very big fan of these kids leaving early anyway to go from college to the pros. Do you think that now with the transfer portal and the NIL money that's out there for it's for football and it's for basically for college, for men's college basketball, that's where the money's at in college sports. Do you see that these kids are going to be leaving school now, or do they say, wait a minute, I don't need to be a part of the rookie cap. I want to go ahead and make me some money now, like you said. It's happening in football.
They're not going to leave college. They'll make transfer to another school.
Yes, that's
I'm saying going
college free agency,
going pro.
Yeah,
because I always said that was one of the things that really made the NBA kind of a watered down league outside of your handful of guys who could play, was all these guys who would leave after the one and dones. The one and done was the trend. Now you're seeing a lot more guys staying, ever since COVID and stuff. Now you have the transfer portal, and now you have NIL money. Well, I'm just going to keep sticking around here because why wouldn't I? I can be now if I go to the NBA, I'm 22, 23 years old. I'm actually a seasoned player instead of these guys who are just raw potential. Do you see that being a trend maybe in the NBA, where I know in football they can't leave until they've been out of high school for 3 years and go pro. But now with basketball, do you see that being something that happens on that sport?
I bet so. And I think you take the branding of the athlete, and so you can build that brand, their image, and if they have a lot of success, they just carry that right into the pros. Yeah.
Think about a few years ago when Mizzou had Michael Porter and all that.
I remember.
If this would have been NIL stuff, I mean, he probably would have made more money and stayed in college. I mean,
probably he would have if Michael Porter Jr. was in the same environment that we have now. He would have been at Mizzou for a year, and he probably would have moved on for more NIL money somewhere else. He'd have been at Kentucky. He'd have been at North Carolina. I think he would have been. So,
I think you're still going to have the blue chip or the lotto, the NBA lottery type picks. That's the thing with those contracts that are different from football is that, hey, if I'm going to go get drafted in the top 10 or 15. Then I'm going to be that dude at some point that's going to get the Supermax contract. And so there's only a handful of those in the NBA. And
but that doesn't hold true for the NBA, because you see guys like a Jimmy Butler. He wasn't one of those guys. It's the guys who obviously work on their game and stuff, but he was a talent that was a late bloomer. He wasn't somebody that came out and you're just like, oh my gosh, we can't miss on Jimmy Butler. Okay. Everybody knows it. Hell, I didn't know who Jimmy Butler was until he started being relevant. And I don't watch a lot of the NBA, but still, I mean, he's not a household name until he's actually relevant. He wasn't relevant in college. And there's a lot of guys like that who came kind of out of nowhere, second round guys, that they're not those guys. So I think, I mean, I think you're going to, personally, I feel like this is going to be something that carries into men's college basketball, where guys actually stick around, or they end up going and playing overseas and doing that Ignite League or G League or whatever the hell they call them, and do that because they can make money.
See where the G League player murdered a girl or whatever. Golly, crazy stuff going on. Well, you brought up basketball, so since you brought up basketball, I'm gonna swing this a little bit. Draymond Green.
Oh, speaking of swing, what a nice pun you had there.
I think that's part of his problem.
Draymond Green. What do you do with this idiot?
Chris says go again. I mean, it's like you.
So have you seen the clips they put out there? Like, I didn't realize that the reason why what's his name left?
Jordan Poole?
No, before him. Tall guy. He's been
Kevin
on
Durant.
Yeah, Durant. Sorry, KD. I didn't realize that their relationship until just recently, and all that stuff comes out. I'm like, holy crap. And you could see them just screaming at each other and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, no wonder he didn't stay in Golden State.
Does he? I don't watch enough of the NBA to know. Does he bring that much value that keeping him on a roster is necessary?
That's what I'm wondering. That's the way I was looking at it.
Used to.
So then why is this even a point anymore? Just cut him and move on.
Contract, because they're guaranteed contracts and they sign them to.
There's got to be some sort of just.
We brought him up last year about contract extension because we were in the library to say who's going to sign him. Golden State re-signs him and he gets a boatload of a contract. Again, you talked about it in hockey. You have to have dudes that are willing to do all the tough stuff, and that's the type of player that he is, and that he brings that tenacity.
He does bring that,
but you could find somebody else to do that probably cheaper.
Again, is the juice
for what
worth
he
the
brings
squeeze?
is the juice worth the squeeze? Yes.
Well, again,
I don't know.
So you can go back to I'm not saying he's at the same level as a Rodman, but if you go back to Rodman, he was great with Daly at Detroit. Okay. And then he leaves and he gets traded and he has all these problems because he doesn't have those relationships. He goes over to the Bulls, and because he reveres Michael Jordan, he does the best he can. They win some more championships, and then he goes to, moves on, and it's
and they also let him go to Vegas for a minute, and they also kind of let him, and
a little bit, just a little.
The juice was worth the squeeze in that.
Right.
Well,
but at some point,
I think Draymond's juice is running out.
There you go. You said it right there.
And I'm Steph Curry. This makes Steph Curry look bad, I think, too.
Well, it makes the whole Warriors organization a little bit in a precarious spot because they've let him get away with it. They probably could have nipped this in the bud years ago. There's no way that this behavior started now. This has been going on for years, and they kind of, while maybe not looking the other way, they didn't really do anything to correct it. They do things like give him a buttload of money and extend his contract when they probably shouldn't have, and just moved on from him and let him be somebody else's issue or that type of thing.
I guess they're saying that the juice is worth the squeeze still. At some point, you're going to get tired of that crap and dump them.
Well, and my feelings on it is this, and I've always enjoyed the game of basketball sometimes being played in the gray, as far as what's the rules and what's not. I loved the way Rodman played, the way that the Pistons played back in the late 80s and early 90s, the Knicks even, and I wasn't a Knicks fan. But number one, the culture of the NBA is not conducive to that type of play. Like it was back then. We can say all day long LeBron couldn't play in that era of the NBA. There wasn't a lot of guys who could. Let's just face it. That's why they didn't have long careers if they couldn't make it. The officiating was obviously different too. The difference though between a guy like, I don't want to use Rodman because Rodman would get in the front of the microphone, would have his say and things like that. He was kind of the change. But using a guy like Bill Laimbeer, Laimbeer would not. He wouldn't make it about him. When the game was over, it was just over. I'm done. I'm going to do whatever I got to do on the court, and we're gonna win, and we're gonna play a certain way, and then when that was it, the talking got done on the court, and it never was against the teammates. And I think I always said with a guy like Draymond or anybody like that, before he hit Jordan Poole, that you want a guy like that on your team. But then when he hit his own teammate, I think that changed everything with Draymond Green because I want the
whoa. Jordan punched Kerr right in the face.
Little different.
I'm just saying.
What happens behind closed doors in practice? It's not, and there's no. It's things have to stay in the locker room, and they're dealt with accordingly.
Well, okay, so yeah. I'm gonna use Zach's hockey reference when he talked about this having to be guys do the tough things and stuff like that. Hockey teams would not put up with somebody who would go after and kind of maliciously go after a teammate. Do hockey players end up in fights? Yeah, but they end up getting a beer at the end of practice type of thing. There's a huge difference between just a little thing there versus something that's dragged out over 3 or 4 years and nobody does anything to fix that or stop it.
Yeah, I thought the Jordan Poole thing was awkward, weird. And so what did Golden State gets rid of Jordan Poole? And you look at that situation, and now with what's happened,
now what you hear, you hear KD. You just brought up KD,
and now was it really Jordan Poole and KD, or was it? I mean,
what's the common denominator here?
Yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire, and it's Draymond. And yeah, Draymond's a great player, man. He's he can shoot outside some. He plays good defense. I don't know if he's worth all that anymore. They even showed Klay Thompson screaming at him in the clips I watched.
I just think if your teammates, if you're not the locker room guy too,
Mm-hmm.
it's one thing. It's like we can. If I know that you always have my back and we have a good relationship and we're going to be fighting against the same guys. I mean, we might have our disagreements, but you can't be fighting everybody. I feel like it's Draymond against everybody. And he's picking fights with people he doesn't need to pick fights with instead of just playing the game and playing the way that he's made his money playing against other guys. Now he's fighting his own guys in the locker room and on his team, and that's not going to work.
Why? Because what is different now? What did Rodman do?
He's a psychopath.
Well, right, but what did Rodman do? He parlayed that into media success, right? Again, you watch that documentary, and I think he's right when he said there was a time frame, even though it might have been itty bitty, where he was the even bigger than Jordan when it comes to commercialism. Draymond wants to relish in that same type of role, but you build yourself up, you build your brand, and if you build it on being a caricature, at some point it wears thin. Again, Chris, your teammates are tired of it. The people are tired of the antics, and like Jarvis said, at some point it's just not worth it anymore. And I think Golden State has to look at it and say, are the antics really worth it? I mean, again,
how many more championships would they have if KD wouldn't have left?
Right.
I mean, I'm thinking they would have had a couple.
I don't know how many championships would they had if Draymond wouldn't have, got that technical that was over his limit, and he had to have a suspension in the playoffs in the NBA Finals. So, I think you're right. I think it wears thin, and your teammates are going to have your back to a degree, but then, like I said, it's he's never going to be Rodman. Okay. Rodman was Rodman and trying to be somebody that you're not. And it's, again, we're not talking about the same kind of NBA and culture that we had before. And he's not as, gosh, what's the word to use for Dennis Rodman off the court? Flamboyant. Eccentric. All those things are not Draymond Green. If you get in front of the microphone, you just talk like this, and he's very Bill Belichick. He's not Dennis Rodman. He's not Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman,
Dennis Rodman was pure entertainment. I mean,
he's this generation's. We're talking about not on the court, off the court, like a Charles Barkley. Okay, where Barkley always has an opinion, and you want to hear what he has to say. Part of it's the Southern drawl, part of it's the comedy of it. And I think Draymond started out that way. But again, it's just like the news. You got to ramp it up. You got to ramp it up. You got to ramp it up.
I'm a big Charles Barkley fan, man. I love listening to him talk. And even when he's wrong, I love listening to him. Because he's going to talk. He don't care. I don't think Draymond's as likable as the people we're talking. I think that's a big part of it. I don't think he's as likable as Rodman, as Barkley, maybe Charles Oakley, even Bill Laimbeer. I don't think his teammates like him as much as they like those guys. And I mean, I'm sure they did when they were winning all those rings, but man, you pushed KD, one of the best player. I'm saying maybe top 10 players ever to play in the league, and you push him away. What are you doing? How many more? What are you doing? It's about.
I mean, you've made enough money at his point. It made enough money at his point. Obviously, if they're going to pay you, you're going to take the money. But at this point, what can you do? Talk about solidifying a brand. Win. I can win more. And now
you win, that solidifies your brand.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't need anything else. I mean, he's won as many. No, he hasn't. He hasn't won as many as Robin. Sorry. I forgot about the Detroit years. So, but he's before he did all this other nonsense with his own teammates, there was probably a good chance that he would finish his career and end up in the Basketball Hall of Fame. I just don't know right now. I just don't see it, and because I think there's that part of it too that I would want him on my team but I don't know if I really do. If that makes
I was gonna
sense.
say,
You would want somebody who does the things he does on your team, but you do
Yeah.
not want him on your team.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just, man, when I saw the KD stuff, I was like, oh, I didn't realize that was that bad. Like
KD got vilified for a lot of that stuff too. You know,
well, yeah, a lot of people blame KD, and after I saw some of the clips I saw the other day, and I'm embarrassed to say where I saw it, but it was TikTok, and and I saw some of the clips, and I'm
You're
like,
not embarrassed.
I'm like, holy crap! Like KD's like, that's why I'm gone on the one. I mean, he even made his mind up. I'm out of here. Like, and it was a game they showed where KD took the last shot or whatever, and he missed. And Draymond was like going crazy, like he should have gave him the ball. And I'm like, if I got my choice, KD, Draymond.
I'm taking Steph Curry before I take Draymond.
And Klay Thompson.
Oh, I can't stand Klay Thompson. I cannot stand. I don't like Klay Thompson. I like freaking Draymond better than I like Klay Thompson. That guy is so full of himself, and he is not that great. I do not like him at all.
The guy scored how many points only took one dribble in the game? I would say he's pretty good.
I don't care. I don't like him.
Hey, is it the Scottie Pippen effect?
He is a crybaby.
Is it the Scottie Pippen effect? Somebody got in his ear like Scottie Pippen and said, "Hey, you're not Robin. You're Batman too. You could be Batman."
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
Yep.
I don't know about that.
I'm not.
I don't
Klay
know.
Thompson. Klay Thompson rubs me the wrong way. I just don't like him.
You don't like him? I couldn't tell. Seems like he's one of your favorite players. You get you a Klay Thompson jersey.
No.
You get it from wish.com.
I'll burn it.
Well, we can finish up our show with our last little mini topic here because we touched on it very, very little at the beginning of the show. Speaking of the show, Shohei's contract, I do want to throw it out there because it happened and we didn't have our show last week.
Screw the Dodgers.
$700 million. A lot of it deferred. So his great grandkids,
a lot of it, all of it.
His great grandkids will be the ones that are getting the money with interest when it's all said and done.
You are correct, Kevin.
Hey, with inflation,
Kevin, did you hear me?
Yeah.
Kevin, you are correct. I'd rather him shoot it. You are right.
Jeez. Wait. Never mind. Professionalism over here. Our private chat.
Very hard for you. That professionalism.
Wait a second. This is the guy that, hey, just go back and rewatch the first segment when you think about it. Did you?
To me?
Yeah, you.
I was professional as could be tonight.
That was like George Carlin's 7 dirty words.
Right, exactly. He said 6 of them.
Penis, 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 penis. There.
All right, everybody say it now. Penis, 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 vagina. Holding a movie. All right, so
yes, you are.
That's right. So Shohei's contract, golly, I mean, it just, and I know he's probably overpaid.
Hold on. Did you just say
overpaid.
Probably?
Yeah, I'd say he's probably overpaid.
No. At $2 million a year, he's underpaid.
Currently, he's underpaid. But
he's
underpaid money that his
They're
contract.
There's
the
no
Bobby
way.
Bonilla, there's no way.
There is no way they are going to pay him $68 million a year for 10 years. They're going to find a way out of it.
Well, I mean, what they'll do is they will fire those 2 guys that have to be working for the Dodgers in order for him to keep his contract, and then he'll opt out.
They're going to have to charge like $150 for a Dodger dog for this stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there in Hollywood who'd pay for
it. There's no way they are paying him. They're paying him $2 million a year to play baseball. There's no way in hell they are going to pay him $68 million for 10 years.
They're going to pay him more money than what the Oakland A's are
contract.
paying their entire team for the next 20 years.
They're going to find a way out of it. They're going to
no way.
Some way to get out of it.
Nope.
They're going to defer it again. They're going to pay him like Bobby Bonilla $2 million a year for 350 years.
Listen, they can do it like my student loans all day long, but they're going to be paying that money back like I'm going to pay my student loans back. And yeah, it's
at the rate of inflation, it ain't going to meet much.
That's maybe true, but still,
you guys keep voting them. Wait a minute. Anyway,
no, not me. But
Dodger fans, yes.
But let's think about this for a second. So everybody's like, "Oh, the Dodgers spending all this money." Well, so currently they have not. They have not spent all that money. But every other team in baseball could have done the same thing, and they didn't do it. And even our Cardinals and anybody else.
Our Cardinals spent
$700 million. Deferred all that money,
It's an IOU. You might want to keep that.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Mo would be like, we offered him 1.8 and deferred the rest of it. So
that's exactly
the Dodgers just paid him more money.
We were in the conversation.
We just missed out.
Yeah. He answered our phone call.
Lars called him, and we were on speaker with him. So does that count?
We FaceTimed. It was a group FaceTime.
Why are you paying anybody $700 million?
What does it do to the
You're
rest
on the
of
West
market?
Coast. It's going to be like when we built the railroads. They're going to bring all them people over. They're going to come watch them.
Oh, my God.
They're still not going to show up to like the fourth inning. Oh my God!
You gotta be a history teacher. Come on now.
Wait, when you say bring those people over, are they going to build a bridge?
What do you mean by them people?
Well, if you know history, which you should.
Once again, you're going to have to change the name of this show, Chris, to
what? The coaches / history box.
Wow. No, Jarvis. Yeah, Jarvis is on assignment.
Oh my God.
Why would I be on assignment? I'm just saying that they're trying to tap into a different market.
The other side effect here is, what does this do for other players in the market? I realize that nobody's to his level, but he's set a level,
dude, and he's
and
probably
somebody
never
else they're going to keep giving. Somebody's getting it.
He's probably never going to pitch again.
Well, they're saying Yamamoto might now get more than a 10-year contract.
Well, you know the Cardinals are on that.
Well, we were in the conversation. Yeah,
they talked about us in the media.
Cardinals, we were not. Newt was in the conversation. We were not.
Yeah, we're not getting him.
We're not getting anybody worth a. I mean, no. We're not.
Now, I will say this: how would you like? Now, we're not in the best shape here in St. Louis, all things considered. How would you like to be the Angels right now? You had your chance. Now, think about this. What haul could you have gotten for Shohei Ohtani at the trade deadline? What haul? Just think about some of the, like Soto. It was an 8-player deal that the Padres traded all those guys to get Juan Soto, who only does one thing. But Shohei has been a 2-time unanimous MVP, can pitch sometimes when he's healthy, obviously, and he can hit. And he can hit. What in the world could you have gotten for him that would have built your franchise back up? Because right now, every other team, hey, Mozeliak is an idiot probably to some of these general managers for some of the things he does. Everybody in Major League Baseball is making fun of the Angels because they had their chance to trade him and to take anybody. It's like, we'll take that guy, your firstborn, your daughter, and everything. You know, prima nocta. We'll enact prima nocta on your families, and we're gonna take this, and you can have Shohei. They got nothing. I take that back. They will get a Type A compensation pick in the draft because they signed,
and they'll screw that pick. They'll screw that. Imagine what Mike Trout is feeling right now.
Well, I don't. Hey, no. I don't want to hear that because he's had every opportunity to go someplace else to a winner. He's made the decision to stay out of loyalty, which is good. Kudos to him. But no, that's his bed. He's got to lie in it. No, I don't. That's me.
I'll
that's
tell you
me.
what.
$30 million a year.
Okay.
I'll lie in that bed too.
I'll
roll
tell you
over
what.
it. Roll.
Mike Trout is like Mike
I'll
Trout's
tell you
like,
what.
I still make more than Shohei now. He's only making $2 million a year.
I'll tell you what. Mike Trout would look good with the birds on the bat, though.
Sure.
Yeah.
Trust me, they'd find a way to turn him into a catcher or something like that because he's not performing in the outfield. Here, we're gonna let Contreras play left field.
We got Yachty here to help our catcher. Okay.
Hey, why are we just gonna make you play first? It's easy to play first, ain't it, Ron? No, it's extremely difficult.
It's the moon to him.
What they say, he lacks confidence.
But I mean, the Angels that is so damn stupid. How do you just
Okay. So 30 seconds here. What's the worst what's the worst franchise? The Angels, the Jets, or
the Clippers?
Somebody, the Clippers, or somebody in hockey. What's
Ooh, before the last 2 years, the Lions would be in that too, but it's got to be the Jets.
Man.
The Jets.
I don't know. You got the Browns.
Yeah, well, they've been better recently.
Oh, they got a guy that.
But no, well, this version of the Browns isn't very old, so I don't know that you can count that. I'm looking for longevity stupidity, and that's
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it is the Angels.
The Angels have won one World Series, and that's it. That was it, and that was their only.
Jets?
It was.
Well, the Jets really haven't done much of anything since Namath.
No, they had the Sanchez. They went to the AFC
Bud,
title
Mr.
game
Bud Fumble.
a couple times.
9-7.
Hey,
yeah, the
9
Jeff
seven
Fisher.
they went to the AFC championship a couple times with Rex Ryan. All right, now let's go get a snack. That's got to be the best. That's got to be the best Hard Knocks. I'm just gonna blister you up and down and just cuss you sideways, and then all right, now let's go get a snack.
I'm glad you said that. There's got to be another Miami episode I didn't watch Tuesday. So
This guy. It's not like we're doing a show here or anything. You can look at TV guys.
He's
later.
got suits. He's got his Hard Knocks.
Yeah,
How about Christmas break? Leave me alone. I got to find stuff to watch.
Yep.
I got practice at 10. We got a lot of things to work on. A lot of things. Like breaking a 1-3-1 and when we get pressed and a lot of things to get ready for. January 12th will be here before you know it.
What's going on then? Kevin, what are you doing that night? Whatever you want.
Yeah, that's actually I've got pitching lessons with my daughter. So
hey, there you go.
How do you know that far in advance?
You're gonna go to pitching lessons and not watch the Miller Jarvis. It'll be late.
It's the
by the time our game starts.
It'll be 7:30 pitching. I think it's 7:30 lessons that night.
Oh shoot, we won't start till 9:30.
The girls will play first.
Listen, I got a spot to catch.
The girls will play last. We'll play first.
No.
Yeah, do that.
Are we doing that?
Let the JV play last. Let the JV play last.
Are the girls playing last?
I think so.
God, that is so stupid.
It means we can go get chicken wings.
No, it's stupid.
Just
he's got to watch Steele play.
And I'll tell your big muscle bound AD that it's stupid too.
Okay.
Stupid.
You think he cares?
I know he doesn't care, but it's dumb.
Man, I don't care.
When were you going to be told this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's on the schedule.
It's actually not.
It's on the calendar.
It's not on the calendar as the girls
inside
being
joke.
loud.
Inside joke.
It's on the calendar. It just hit. It just hit. It's good. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Yeah, it is. It is. It's good stuff. Yep. Well, I think that kind of wraps our show up for this week. Next week, if you guys want to do a show, I'm going to be a little busy.
I'm going to be busy.
I might be busy.
We're probably.
What are you going to do, Zach?
I'll tell you off air.
Oh,
off air.
All right. All right.
The dude that's not coaching or doing anything right now
He's
is going to
busy.
be busy.
He's busy.
Actually, I'm
I'm going to be running a tournament and in a tournament.
Actually, I'll have practice with my 5th grade team. That's what I'll have.
No, you always got practice with little kids. It's crazy. It's nuts.
It's called being a dad, and both of them like to play sports. And it's what you do in Catholic schools. You coach everything under the sun.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, I just have my kids go play on the Catholic teams. And then, so
that's because would they let you coach? Never mind. Not saying.
Oh, well, hey, do you want me to start going down the rap sheet of some coaches in the Catholic schools?
I'm not saying that either.
Probably not.
Hit it. Hit the end button.
Look at it.
Go Draymond on that end button. Let's go.
So appreciate you guys tuning in. We will see you guys all next year because we will not have a show next week. We're calling it right now. Call it like we see it.
People.
Anyway, but thank you guys for tuning in for another episode. We apologize.
Merry Christmas,
all children and blind people who happen to hear and see this show. And Merry Christmas to you guys.
Blind people are going to see the
show. Merry Christmas to you guys from all of us. We hope you guys have a wonderful time with your family and friends in the holiday season and a happy new year. We will see you guys all again. Until then, be safe, be, just
merry. Be merry.
Yeah, be merry.
Don't be Draymond.
And don't be Draymond. We'll see you guys all again. Have a great night.
This episode of the Coach's Box Call It Like We See It podcast is brought to you by Off the Rails Media. Life's more fun when you're off the rails.